Part 8. Immortal world is back, I am invincible. Author, listen to the wind with your L. Chapter 71. The figures of Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao moved at the same time. The two of them blocked Yang Zhen's way. You want to take action against Mr. Su? I think you don't know how to live or die. Mr. Wei shouted coldly. Mr. Chiao snorted coldly, Yang Zhen, this is not your southwest. I advise you to apologize to Mr. Su immediately and then go back to your southwest. When Yang Zhen saw Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao protecting Su Yu like this, he felt a little hesitant in his heart. Could it be that this kid has some unknown and terrifying identity? The dying Yang Hai saw Yang Zhen's concerns, and he roared, "Third brother, this kid is just an abandoned son of the Tianhai Su family. Now even the eldest son of the Tianhai Su family wants to take this kid's life, you don't have to think too much." After Yang Zhen heard Yang Hai's words, he said coldly, "Everyone waiting here, please leave. I only give you 5 minutes. If in 5 minutes there are still people who shouldn't be here, don't blame me, Yang Zhen, for being cruel." While talking, the aura of the early stage of creation realm in him surged wildly. Most of the people present did not want to be affected by Chi Yu, so they all burst out with extreme speed and moved away from Linzhou Immortal Martial Academy. The figures of Lin Zixuan and Zhang Wan fell next to Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao. The two of them stared at Yang Zhen with cold eyes. Not a moment. Only a few students and teachers from the college were left around. These people had witnessed Su Yu stepping onto the 7th floor of the 7-color Immortal Tower. They knew that without Su Yu, the 7-color Immortal Tower would not have been left in the academy, and it would not have become a treasured land for cultivation. Therefore, they have different feelings for Su Yu. Lin Zixuan was quite satisfied with these students and teachers. "You should leave first. You're distracting us by staying here." After the students and teachers in the college looked at each other, they knew that facing a strong person in the creation realm, they could not help at all. On the contrary, they might be a hindrance and become a burden. Think of this. They turned back step by step and left temporarily with great reluctance. Among the crowd, only Lu Lin walked to Su Yu. "Dean Lin, let me stay. Brother Su was kind to me. If I leave now, I will never be able to forgive myself for the rest of my life. He was once a rare genius in Linzhou Immortal Martial Academy. Later, after joining the Immortal Martial Academy in the imperial capital, he was suppressed to the point of collapse. This time, people from the Immortal Martial Academy came to give him the colorful Immortal Pagoda. It was Su Yu who saved him and made him regain his confidence. Otherwise, his path to immortality may come to an end." The gratitude he felt towards Su Yu could not be described in words. Even if he was asked to block Su Yu's knife, he would not hesitate at all. Lin Zixuan nodded and agreed to let Lu Lin stay. Yang Zhen felt that Lin Zixuan's cultivation was in the middle of a transformation, and Zhang Wan's cultivation was within the great perfection of the sky control realm. His expression became colder and colder. The reason why he cleared the scene was to use his strength to force Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao to bow their heads, so that these two old men would not dare to protect Su Yu anymore. Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao have good connections in Xia. Yang Zhen doesn't dare to kill them directly at the moment. After the scene is cleared, even if Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao lose face, not many people will see it. Yang Zhen was very considerate. Yang Hai had met Zhang Wan before. When he went to Tianhai to find Su Wu Xingxi to question him, he knew that Su Wu had called Zhang Wan. Zhang Wan only said "get out" on the phone. After that, the Zhang family immediately terminated all cooperation with the Tianhai Su family. Now seeing that Zhang Wan also wanted to stand up for Su Yu, Yang Hai suddenly understood a lot of things. The Zhang family interrupted all cooperation with the Su family, all because of Su Yu. Zhang Wan, as one of the vice presidents of the Tianhai Immortal Martial Academy and the proud daughter of the Tianhai Zhang family, why do you look at an abandoned son of the Su family in a different light? Are you blind? Yang Hai yelled at Zhongwan unwillingly. Zhongwan had no intention of paying attention. After Yang Zhen heard Yang Hai's words, his eyes became more solemn. Although he has never met Zhongwan, he has heard of Zhongwan's name. Standing next to Zhongwan must be Lin Zixuan, the dean of Linzhou Immortal Martial Academy. The identities of these two women are extraordinary. Coupled with Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao, it's really tricky now. The blood of our Yang family flows in Yang Hai's body. Today's culprit is this kid. As long as you are willing to get out of the way, I, Yang Zhen, promise not to make things difficult for you. Yang Zhen didn't want to conflict with Mr. Wei and others. Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao shook their shoulders, and their aura of half-step creation surged at the same time. Almost at the same time, they officially entered the early stage of creation. After drinking Suyu's fairy brew, they just suppressed the tendency to break through. Now, with just a thought, they can break through in cultivation. Yang Zhen felt that Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao broke through at the same time. His eyes were wider than lanterns. Why could these two old men temporarily break through in cultivation? Facing two early-stage creation monks, a half-step creation monk and a Dzogchen monk in the sky-controlling realm, his chances of winning were almost zero. Yang Zhen looked at Suyu, who looked indifferent in the distance, and gritted his teeth. At this point, if he bows his head and gives in, he will definitely become a joke. Besides, he couldn't swallow this breath. Now we can only capture the thief first and capture the king first. Mr. Wei and the others were all trying to protect Suyu. As long as they had this kid in their hands, he would have the final say in everything. Yang Zhen kicked the ground with his right foot. Suddenly a strong wind blew around. The surge of aura on his body merged with the strong wind, a fleeting glimpse of the wind. The next second, Yang Zhen's speed suddenly skyrocketed. Overlapping shadows appeared in the air. This is a rank 4 combat skill. Physical combat skills are very rare on today's Earth, let alone rank 4 physical combat skills. Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao wanted to stop him, but their speed was a beat slower. Lin Zixuan and Zhongwan didn't have time to react. I saw Yang Zhen approaching Suyu very quickly. Yang Hai had just sensed that Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao had entered the early stage of creation, and he fell into panic and worry. Now that he saw that Yang Zhen was about to capture Suyu, his face burst into joy. Mr. Wei, I advise you not to act rashly, otherwise I will kill this kid immediately. Yang Zhen's voice reached the ears of Mr. Wei and others. He is now only 2 meters away from Suyu. Lu Lin, Tang Yuxin, and Wang Menglu next to them were unable to move their bodies in the face of Yang Zhen's momentum, and their faces showed signs of fear. Even Tang Yuxin and Wang Menglu, who knew that Suyu was in the early stage of the creation realm, still didn't have much confidence in Suyu. It was really because Yang Zhen's physical combat skills were too fast. Yang Zhen, who was full of confidence, saw a slight sneer on the corner of Suyu's mouth, and he roared, "Damn ant, why are you laughing? Immortal world is back, I am invincible." Author, listen to the wind with your L. Chapter 72. The ground exploded all around. Dust filled the air. The spiritual energy bursting out from Yang Zhen's body carried a terrifying destructive power. When he was 1 meter away from Suyu, his right palm turned into a claw and grabbed Suyu's throat. "You little bastard, stop pretending in front of me." His entire claws were wrapped in extreme sharpness. This is the rank 3 combat skill Eagle Claw, shattering the sky. A shadow of an eagle talon was faintly condensed above his talons. Before the claw touched Suyu's throat, a stone tablet outside the academy behind him suddenly exploded under the influence of the claw. Mr. Wei and others believed that with Suyu's cultivation in the early stage of the good fortune realm, he could not defeat Yang Zhen, who was also in the early stage of the good fortune realm. But he will never be defeated by Yang Zhen with one move. The figures of the 4 of them came through the air at the same time. Lu Lin and others next to him held their breath, they could not help Suyu. when Yang Zhen's paws were getting closer and closer to Suyu. Yang Hai smiled, he smiled very proudly, he would not die today. However, Yang Zhen's face suddenly changed drastically. His claws were 5 centimeters away from Suyu's throat and could no longer move forward. It was as if there was an impenetrable wall in front of his paws. How is this going? He looked at Suyu with his hands in his pockets. He didn't believe that this bastard was stronger than him. Little bastard, it's useless for you to pretend to be a ghost. Say it. He focused all his power on the claws transformed into his right hand. The next second, his claws did advance a centimeter. But wait until he is happy. Sound. His entire right palm turned into a ball of blood mist in the air. Ah! When Yang Zhen screamed in incredible pain. Suyu reached out with his right palm, grabbed Yang Zhen's forehead, and easily lifted him up. Didn't you just ask me why I was laughing? I'm laughing at you for not knowing how to live or die. Suyu's expression was indifferent. Under the power of his right hand, Yang Zhen can't even lift a trace of strength in his body. He stared at Suyu in front of him with horror on his face. Who is this kid? He is a genuine strong man in the early stage of creation realm. Why is he so vulnerable in front of Suyu? Could it be said that this young boy's cultivation level is really higher than his? Is it possible? Can a boy of about 20 years old surpass the early stage of creation realm? When Mr. Wei, Mr. Chiao, and others saw this, their eyes widened and their steps suddenly stopped. Zixuan, what level is Suyu's brother's cultivation level? It seems that he is definitely in the early stage of creation. To be able to suppress Yang Zhen so easily, he is at least a strong person in the late stage of creation realm. Zhang Wan took a deep breath, her words filled with horror. Lin Zixuan shook her head and said, I don't know what level his cultivation level is. He has never exuded the aura of cultivation level. I think he must have practiced some kind of concealment technique. Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao slowly exhaled from their mouths. They were not as good as Suyu in the formation competition, and they were far inferior to Suyu in the cultivation level competition. Compared with Suyu, they really felt that they had lived like a dog for most of their lives. Now without the influence of Yang Zhen's momentum, Tang Yuxin, Wang Menglu, and Lu Lin's bodies have regained their ability to move. Tang Yuxin and Wang Menglu could barely accept the scene before them. But Lu Lin had no idea that Suyu's cultivation was in the creation realm. He always thought that Suyu's cultivation was in the early stage of the sea transformation realm. At this moment, he was so horrified that his eyes almost popped out. Brother Su is awesome. Lu Lin sighed as he swallowed his saliva. Yang Hai was so frightened that he almost breathed his last. He tremblingly said to himself, this is impossible. There is absolutely no way this abandoned son of the Su family is so strong. Why did things turn out like this? I must be dreaming, I must be dreaming. His eyes were filled with fear, and his mouth kept gasping for air. The whole person's spirit seemed to be abnormal. Zhang Wan frowned slightly, waved her arm, and a small pebble on the ground in front of her quickly rushed towards Yang Hai. When Yang Hai saw this, he shouted, no, you can't kill me, I am an umbu. He didn't have time to finish his sentence. Sound. The pebble pierced Yang Hai's eyebrows and entered his mind. He died instantly, his eyes widened with a dead look on his face. At this point, Yang Hai must die. After Yang Zhen saw that his half-brother was killed, he felt chills all over. When he was in the southwest, only the Yang family played with other people's lives. Now he has fallen to this point. He doesn't want to die. He definitely doesn't want to die. Now he hates Yang Hai. If it weren't for this idiot, he wouldn't have had any friction with Suyu. Yang Zhen felt the severe pain on his forehead. He was very sure that as long as Suyu's palm exerted force, his entire head would explode. Senior, I am blind. I shouldn't have offended you. Please give me a chance to live. I beg you. Yang Zhen begged for mercy. He just wants to return to the southwest alive now, and there will be plenty of opportunities for revenge in the future. Su Yu's eyes caught a flash of murderous intent in Yang Zhen's eyes. At this time, a dog ran out of the academy and peed in the mud not far away. Su Yu flicked his hand, and Yang Zhen was thrown flying to the muddy ground. You can live if you want. Didn't you just say you wanted me to die? Since your mouth smells so bad, I'm going to treat you to a good meal today so that you can get rid of this bad mouth problem. Chew up the dirt in front of you. Remember, don't make me say it a second time. Su Yu said calmly. Yang Zhen smelled the stench coming from the wet soil. But in order to survive, he was so cruel that he lay down in the mud and started chewing. During this time, he kept retching. Mr. Wei and others looked at the scene in front of them with disdain. Yang Zhenai is one of the three heroes of the Yang family. He has a great reputation in the southwest. Now he is chewing dirt soaked in dog urine without dignity in order to survive. How ridiculous. About 10 minutes later, Yang Zhen, who had a mouthful of dirt, looked at Su Yu and said, "Senior, I've chewed up all the dirt here." Su Yu nodded casually, "Yes, I can spare your life today." Yang Zhen immediately stood up from the ground. Although he was thanking Senior Su for not killing him, murderous intent flashed in his eyes. When he wants to leave immediately. Su Yu moved his fingers. 4 sharp energy shot towards Yang Zhen. Swish, 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 swish. His limbs were cut off directly. Ah! A hoarse scream of pain came from Yang Zhen's throat, and he shouted, "You little bastard, you don't keep your word." Su Yu looked indifferent, "I only said I wouldn't kill you. Have I killed you now? I just chopped off your limbs. Don't worry, I always keep my word. I will never kill you. As for whether anyone else here wants to kill you, I can't guarantee that. Treat the enemy." Su Yu has never been merciful. Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao understood the meaning of Su Yu's words, and they both rushed over at the same time, stomping on Yang Zhen's head. Result: they stepped on half of Yang Zhen's head respectively, and the soles of their feet exerted force at the same time. There was a bang sound. Yang Zhen's head was like a watermelon that had been stepped on. Su Yu didn't take another look at the dead Yang Zhen. Now that the spatial crack in Linzhou was sealed by his sword, he should go about his own business. "Yuxin, I want to go to Tianhai," Su Yu said. It's time for the grudge between him and the Tianhai Su family to be settled. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Immortal World is back, I am invincible. Author, listen to the wind with your L. Chapter 73. After Tang Yuxin was stunned for a moment, her face was full of worry. "Su Yu, I'll go with you." She originally wanted to persuade Su Yu not to seek revenge first, as the background of the Tianhai Su family was unfathomable. But when the words came to her lips, it turned out that she was willing to accompany Su Yu to die without hesitation. Lin Zixuan used voice transmission to tell Mr. Wei, Mr. Chiao, and Zhang Wan what she had investigated. These include a series of tragic pasts such as Su Yu being pulled out of his immortal bones and having his pair of infinite purple pupils dug out. The anger in Elder Wei and Elder Chiao's bodies surged, and they admired Su Yu's formation attainments from the bottom of their hearts. And it was Su Yu who gave them the opportunity to break through, and they were extremely grateful to Su Yu. Now that they learned about Su Yu's tragic past one after another, they were aggrieved on behalf of Su Yu. The people of the Tianhai Su family are simply crazy. Why do they target you, Senior Su, like this? You were only 5 years old back then. They had the heart to attack a 5-year-old child. It was simply inhumane. Mr. Wei couldn't help but said. His face was filled with anger. Mr. Chiao's eyes seemed to be burning with fire. For the development of the family, the people of the Tianhai Su family even poached your pair of infinite purple pupils and gave them to Qin Tians of the Qin family. They did not regard you, Senior Su, as a human being at all. They all deserve to die. Lu Lin next to him was confused. Lin Zixuan didn't send a message to him just now. Wang Menglu whispered to him about Su Yu's past. After Lu Lin learned about these things, he clenched his fists tightly, perhaps too hard, and the joints of his 10 fingers creaked. Brother Su, I may not be able to help you. But I must accompany you to Tianhai. Lu Lin said firmly. He is not afraid of death, he is willing to die with Su Yu. Zhang Wan's face seemed to be covered with a layer of frost. Now that she had a crush on Su Yu, she also hated those who had hurt Su Yu. But she knew that some things should not be emotional. If she was too impulsive, not only would she not be able to get revenge, but she would suffer even more extreme torture. Brother Su Yu, I can feel the pain you have suffered. I'm not trying to stop you from taking revenge. The fact that you defeated Yang Zhen so easily just now means that your cultivation level is at least in the late stage of creation realm. To take a step back, I will treat your cultivation as being in the great perfection of creation. Even so, if you go to Tianhai Su's house, you will definitely die. The Su family definitely has strong people above the realm of creation. With your talent, as long as you are willing to endure for a few years, you will definitely be able to destroy the entire Su family. Zhang Wan said seriously. Lin Zixuan nodded in agreement. Su Yu, if you want real revenge, you shouldn't be impulsive. Su Yu said calmly, actually, I'm stronger than you think. Zhang Wan and Lin Zixuan did not believe that Su Yu's cultivation could surpass the great perfection of creation. The existences above the realm of creation are all old monsters. Mr. Wei said without hesitation, Senior Su, if you must go to Tianhai, I am willing to help you. I have lived for most of my life, and I should do something spectacular. Mr. Chiao immediately said, Senior Su, and me. It has always been my wish to be able to shine with dazzling brilliance at the end of my life. It is my honor to accompany you to fight against the Su family. Lin Zixuan sighed and said, I urge you to go back, but if you must go, I will accompany you. She has become Su Yu's woman. Her man was going to die, so there was no reason for her to just watch. Zhang Wan took a deep breath. My home is in Tianhai. Brother Su Yu, I see the hope of the human race in you. As long as you live, you will definitely create miracles for the human race again and again in the future. I am willing to try to convince my family to let the Zhang family deal with the Su family together. Su Yu could see that Mr. Wei and others were extremely sincere, and he said, I will leave for Tianhai the day after tomorrow. Tomorrow is Yuxian's birthday. He didn't want to go on a killing spree on Tang Yuxian's birthday. After so long, he still remembers Tang Yuxian's birthday. Even Tang Yuxian forgot that tomorrow was her birthday. She temporarily relaxed her eyebrows that were wrinkled with worry. Lin Zixuan felt sour. She wonders if this is jealousy. It was obvious that she and Su Yu had only known each other for a short time. Are you going to stay here? Or go back with me? Su Yu walked towards Lin Zixuan's villa. Tang Yuxian followed closely behind Su Yu. Mr. Wei and the others don't want to stay here either. This time, Lu Lin followed him to the villa. After a group of them left. Gradually, someone is approaching here cautiously. Soon, news of the deaths of Yang Hai and Yang Zhen spread quickly. At night, the silvery white moonlight pours down on the earth. Inside Lin Zixuan's villa, Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao received a call at the same time. Not long after, their faces became extremely ugly. With the abilities of Su Yu, Zhang Wan, and others, they could clearly hear the content on the phone. In the Xia Kingdom, because of the scarcity of formation masters, the Array Master Association only exists in the imperial capital, unlike the Alchemist Association, which has branches in some cities. At present, People from the Formation Master Association contacted Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao and expelled them from the association. When Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao ended the call, Zhangwan and Lin Zixuan's cell phones rang almost at the same time. The person who contacted Lin Zixuan was the senior executive of Xiaoguoying Department. The Ministry of Talents manages all cultivation colleges across the country and has the power of life and death over cultivation colleges. Now, the Ministry of Talents is delisting Linzhou Immortal Martial Academy, and this academy will no longer exist in the future. What Zhang Wan received was a call from Tianhai Immortal Martial Academy. She was dismissed from the position of vice president by the academy. Yang Zhen is one of the three heroes of the Yang family in southwest China. The Yang family has a certain influence in the Xia kingdom. Now that Yang Zhen is killed, the Yang family will definitely take revenge wildly. As for Yang Hai, in addition to being the illegitimate son of the Yang family, he is also the head of the Linzhou branch of the Hidden Department. The Yinbu and the Yang family join forces. Naturally, you can do a lot of things. Before Yang Zhen cleared the scene, many people saw Lin Zixuan attacking Yang Hai. Then, Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao also attacked Yang Hai, even to the point where they did not give Yang Zhen any face. The deaths of Yang Hai and Yang Zhen must be caused by Mr. Wei, Mr. Chiao, and Lin Zixuan. As for Zhang Wan, in the eyes of others, she has always been standing with Lin Zixuan, so she was also implicated. Tang Yuxin, Wang Menglu, and Lu Lin's faces were full of anger. It was obviously Suyu who was targeted at the beginning, and Mr. Wei and others were just helping Suyu stand out. As a result, each of these departments was indiscriminate. Is there any justice in this world? Do you regret it now? Suyu asked. Mr. Wei and the others shook their heads firmly. Lin Zixuan was a little angry. Suyu, who do you think we are? Suyu glanced at Lin Zixuan. This woman has a bad temper. We must find a chance to make her docile. Believe me. Those who oppressed you today will soon regret it. They're going to come and kneel down and apologize to you. Suyu smiled slightly. Immortal world is back, I am invincible. Author, listen to the wind with your L. Chapter 74. Ministry of Talents, Array Masters Association and Tianhai Immortal Martial Academy. These are three behemoths. Even the most inconspicuous Tianhai Immortal Martial Academy is one of the top 5 famous schools in Xia Kingdom. Is it possible to make these three behemoths bow their heads and apologize? The eyes of Lin Zixuan, Zhang Wan, and others were fixed on Suyu. Brother Su, please stop playing riddles. Lu Lin felt itchy. Suyu said calmly, since the Ministry of Talents wants to remove Linzhou Immortal Martial Academy, we will change the name of the academy in the future. I will make the newly established academy become the #1 academy for cultivating immortals in the world. From now on, only the monks who come out of our academy will be the real geniuses. Our academy does not need to be accredited by the Ministry of Excellence. When the time comes, I will set up the Immortal Clan Body Tempering Array in the academy to quickly improve the students' cultivation. After a pause, he smiled and said, the Immortal Clan Body Tempering formation is not the only formation that can assist monks in their cultivation. But before that, the college must be reorganized. Don't try to retain any of the students and teachers who don't want to stay. Only those who have real feelings for the college are worthy of the opportunity I give them. Suyu glanced at Lin Zixuan. Lu Lin didn't know that Suyu was an array master. Wang Menglu whispered a few words to him. When he learned that Suyu was a 7-star formation mage, he was so shocked that he couldn't close his mouth from ear to ear. Especially after he learned that the Immortal Clan Body Tempering formation could allow Qi condensation monks to directly break through to the innate realm, he held his breath in his nose and his whole face was filled with disbelief. There is such a magical formation in this world. Lu Lin's admiration for Suyu soared. Lin Zixuan's beautiful eyes were fixed on Suyu. A college not recognized by the Ministry of Talents was regarded as a pheasant college. No one with the talent to cultivate immortality will enter Pheasant Academy to practice. But if one day, the Pheasant Academy they established crushes all the colleges in the world and becomes the #1 in the world, that will definitely be exciting. When that day comes, the top management of the talents department will definitely ask them. Not only Lin Zixuan, but others also thought of this possibility. Su Yu glanced at Zhang Wan and said, "If you are interested, you can come to our new college as the deputy dean." Zhang Wan bit her red lips and said, "I am willing to serve as the vice president. I propose that you, brother Su Yu, be the dean, and let Zixuan be the vice dean like me." Lin Zixuan knew that her best friend was unwilling to be inferior to her, so she didn't care about it. By then, Su Yu, the master of the 7-star formation, must have paid the most. "Okay, I agree," Lin Zixuan said. Su Yu didn't want to quarrel with these two women, so let's leave it at that. Anyway, he would leave the Earth in the future. "I want to set up a formation club in the new college. Are you two interested in helping me manage it? I will take the time to explain the formation problems to you. If in the future, a formation club in our college can directly crush the Formation Master Association in the imperial capital, what do you think the outside world will think?" Su Yu's eyes stayed on Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao. This excited them both. "When I think about it, in the future, a small formation club in a college will be able to crush the Formation Masters Association in the imperial capital." Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao felt happy. If that day really comes, the people from the Array Masters Association will definitely bow their heads and apologize. "Senior Su, your proposal is great. Your words really make my blood boil." Mr. Wei's face turned red with excitement. Mr. Chiao clenched his fists and said excitedly, "Senior Su, Mr. Wei and I are determined to follow you." Su Yu waved his hand calmly to tell the two old men not to be so excited. Before leaving the Earth, create a college and leave a legacy. This can be regarded as Su Yu's contribution to the future of his hometown. Just when the clouds in Zhang Wan's and others' hearts gradually dissipated, Lin Zixuan's cell phone rang again. It was a call from a teacher in the college. A vice principal from Immortal Martial Academy in the imperial capital came to Linzhou Immortal Martial Academy and asked to see Lin Zixuan and Su Yu by name. This matter certainly cannot be avoided. After ending the call, everyone present expressed their intention to accompany Su Yu and Lin Zixuan. Everyone walked out of the villa. Su Yu did not walk in the air, so Mr. Wei, Mr. Chiao and others naturally followed him obediently. When they came to the entrance of the college, I saw two figures standing there. One of the old men in purple robes is one of the vice presidents of the Immortal Martial Academy in the imperial capital. His name is Han Qingshan. He is considered the more senior among the 5 vice principals of the Immortal Martial Academy in the imperial capital. He has reached the great perfection of creation realm through his cultivation. There was a woman standing next to him, wearing a long white dress, with a cold look on her face, as if someone owed her hundreds of millions. This person is Han Ziyi, the granddaughter of Han Qingshan. She is the proud daughter of the Immortal Martial Academy in the imperial capital, and she is good friends with Su Yu's former fiancée Song Ruian. She arrived at the sea transformation realm late stage with all her skills. Han Qingshan and Han Ziyi saw that Su Yu and others were still strolling around like this even though they knew they were waiting. The anger in their hearts suddenly rose. After a while, seeing Su Yu and others approaching, Han Qingshan snorted, "A bunch of unruly people." Han Ziyi's eyes were fixed on Su Yu. "I have seen your photos. Forgot to introduce myself, I am Song Ruian's best friend Han Ziyi. Before I come here, Ruian asked me to bring you a message. She said she didn't owe you anything and asked you not to have any illusions about her in the future." Su Yu narrowed his eyes slightly. If he hadn't ignored his own life and developed medicinal liquids for Song Ruian again and again, the birthmark on Song Ruian's face cannot be removed. Qin Tians will never fall in love with her. Although Suyu had already let go of this relationship, Song Ruian looked too ugly. Since he said he didn't owe it, Suyu wanted Song Ruian to return to her previous appearance. This can be regarded as true mutual debt. Seeing that Suyu didn't speak, Han Zi sneered and said, "What? Can't you, a toad, just accept the reality? To be honest, a person like you is not worthy of Ruian even if he works hard all his life. Don't think that just because you stepped onto the 7th floor of the 7-color Immortal Tower, you are so amazing. The so-called immortal talent is just a joke and cannot be taken seriously at all." While talking, the aura of Sea Transformation Realm late stage in her sword, Master Qin and Ruian are the best match. This time I came to Linzhou with my grandfather just to take your life. The moment you are on our college's kill list, you are destined to die at the hands of someone from our college. Han Zi flicked his arm. A whoosh sound. A sharp dagger flew out and was nailed to the ground in front of Suyu. For the sake of your relationship with Ruian, you commit suicide. This will save you a lot of pain. Han Zi looked proud. She held her head high and was about to point her nostrils at Suyu and others. An arrogant look. Immortal world is back, I am invincible. Author, listen to the wind with your L. Chapter 75. Han Qingshan's face was full of indifference. Let young people handle their own affairs. You don't want to interfere, right? His eyes swept over Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao. When I was in the imperial capital, Han Qingshan has met Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao at many gatherings. The three of them are considered acquaintances. Before Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao could speak, Han Qingshan continued, now that you are unable to protect yourself, how does it feel to be expelled from the Formation Master Association? If you dare to shamelessly interfere in my granddaughter's affairs, don't blame me for not cherishing our old friendship. Then, his eyes glanced at Lin Zixuan and Zhang Wan. Both Imperial Capital Immortal Martial Academy and Tianhai Immortal Martial Academy are among the top 5 prestigious schools in Xia Kingdom. Han Qingshan has naturally met Zhang Wan. As for Lin Zixuan, who was standing next to Zhang Wan, he guessed that this woman was the dean of Linzhou Immortal Martial Academy. You two, please watch quietly from the sidelines. Don't let me destroy you. This kid is on the kill list of our college. My granddaughter is the only one to attack him today. No one else is allowed to interfere. If this kid is capable, he can fight back. Han Qingshan said coldly. According to the news he and Han Zi received, Suyu's cultivation level was in the innate realm. So what if Suyu is a Dzogchen monk in the innate realm? To take a step back, even if the information is not accurate, Suyu is a monk in the early stage of Sea Transformation realm and is not taken seriously by Han Zi at all. After Wei Lao and others heard what Han Qingshan said, they looked strange. Han Qingshan wants his granddaughter to fight Suyu alone? A monk from the Sea Transformation realm late stage challenges a strong man from the creation realm? You can't do this even if you want to die? Han Qingshan, are you sure this is a matter between young people? You won't interfere later? Mr. Wei asked. Han Qingshan snorted coldly, I am the vice president of the Immortal Martial Academy in the imperial capital. I always keep my word. This time I come to the state, my granddaughter is here to take this kid's life. And I'm here to take away our college's 7-colored Immortal Tower. Now that Linzhou Immortal Martial Academy no longer exists, it is time for the colorful Immortal Tower to return to the imperial capital Immortal Martial Academy. Lin Zixuan and Zhang Wan frowned. They had previously guessed that Suyu's cultivation level was at least within the late stage of creation realm. Until now, they still don't know Suyu's true cultivation level. It would be easy for Suyu to deal with Han Zi. But will he be Han Qingshan's opponent? The two women were very worried. Except for Suyu, no one else here had any hope of defeating Han Qingshan. What? Are you unwilling to commit suicide? Do you have to make me do it? That's fine, I'll vent my anger for young Master Qin and Ruyan. Han Zi drew out a long cyan sword that she carried with her. The aura of sea transformation realm late stage surged from her body, and her face was full of disdain. Su Yu just stood calmly. Under the moonlight. His eyes are deep. The breeze ruffled his clothes, and his face was calm. When Han Zi saw Su Yu being so calm, she said coldly, "It's all mysterious. I heard that a pair of your eyes was dedicated to young Master Qin back then. The infinite purple eyes are not something someone like you is qualified to possess. Where did you get those eyes you have now? If you just stay a blind loser and live in seclusion in the mountains and forests, you might be able to survive the rest of your life. It's a pity that you have to come out and jump around. We can only send you to see the King of Hell. Say it." Han Zi moved his hand holding the hilt of the sword. The cold light on the sword surged. She tapped her toes. The whole person rushed towards Su Yu. She burst out with the ultimate speed of a sea transformation realm late-stage monk, and stabbed Su Yu's throat with a sword. The tip of the sword is condensed with terrifying piercing power. Han Zi did not use any combat skills. She felt that a trash like Su Yu was not qualified to let her use combat skills. Han Qingshan looked on with a cold face. He narrowed his eyes slightly and looked like Han Zi was determined to win. Mr. Wei, Mr. Chiao and others secretly cursed the grandfather and grandson for being stupid. The tip of the sword was getting closer and closer to Su Yu. A proud sneer appeared on the corner of Han Zi's mouth. She seemed to have seen Su Yu's throat being pierced by her sword. However, when the tip of the sword was still 10 centimeters away from Su Yu's throat, Su Yu raised his right hand, and easily clamped the sword blade between his index and middle fingers. As a result, Han Zi's body stopped, and the sword in her hand could no longer thrust forward. How can this be? When she was surprised, Su Yu clamped the index finger and middle finger of the sword and moved it. Boom! There was a sound of metal breaking. The blue sword was broken by Su Yu. Seeing this scene, Han Zi's eyes were bigger than lanterns, and her mouth was wide enough to put a light bulb in. Why is this happening? How could her sword be broken by Su Yu? You must know that even a strong person in the early stage of the sky control realm cannot break her sword. This was her 18th birthday, a birthday gift from her grandfather. Han Qingshan, who was standing not far away, suddenly widened his slightly squinted eyes. Under his gaze, Su Yu flicked his right hand, and the broken sword blade flew towards Han Zi. After Han Qingshan came to his senses, he roared angrily, "You bastard, you are looking for death." He burst out with extreme speed and rushed towards Han Zi. When Han Zi faced the sword thrown by Su Yu, she had no way to hide. The sword was flying too fast. Sound. This section of the sword sank into Han Zi's right shoulder. After piercing her shoulder bone, it penetrated through her back. Blood splattered in the air. Han Zi fell to the ground with a pale face and screamed in her throat, "Ah!" After all, Han Qingshan was a step too late and was unable to block the blade of the sword just now. He blocked Han Zi behind him and stared at Su Yu coldly, "Little bastard, you hide so well. Your cultivation level is at least in the late stage of the sky control realm." Su Yu smiled and said, "What a shameless old dog. Are you ready to interfere in the affairs between us young people?" Which dog just said that young people should handle their own affairs? That's good, I have a reason to kill you. After Han Qingshan heard these words, he was stunned. Su Yu looked at Han Zi behind the old dog, "Do you know why I didn't let the sword blade pierce your throat just now?" Han Zi struggled to stand up from the ground, "Don't be alarmist here. Do you think that after defeating me, you can talk nonsense in front of my grandfather? I know, you want to use this to scare my grandpa away. The reason you didn't kill me was because you were afraid of making the matter too big for you to end. I am the proud daughter of the Immortal Martial Academy in the Imperial Capital. If you kill me, you will die without a burial place, and the people around you will also be implicated. Did I guess it right? This little trick of yours cannot be hidden from my eyes. Suyu glanced at Lin Zixuan and others and asked, is there something wrong with her brain? Then, he added, you are Song Ruian's best friend. Since you are an acquaintance's friend, I will naturally entertain you well. Didn't your confidence come from this old dog? Later, when this old dog turns into a dead dog, I want to see how desperate you will be. As an acquaintance, of course I can't let you die easily. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Immortal World is back, I am invincible. Author, listen to the wind with your L. Chapter 76. The night is as cold as water. Outside Linzhou Immortal Martial Academy. The atmosphere was solemn. The anger in Han Qingshan's body continued to surge, and a terrifying aura surrounded him. Click, click, click. A thin sound came from the solace of his feet. Cracks appeared on the ground and spread like spider webs. Han Zi was his most beloved granddaughter, and Suyu dared to hurt his granddaughter. It is simply an unforgivable crime. Han Qingshan completely forgot what he had just vowed to say. He chose to intervene after all. Han Zi stood up, her body swaying, and there was blood on her right shoulder. She endured the severe pain and shouted, Zhajui, I'm waiting to see how you are going to make me fall into despair. I'm looking forward to it. Don't let me down. Although she said so, she was filled with horror in her heart. Why does Suyu, a trash she doesn't care about, have the cultivation level of the sky control realm? Her grandfather just said that Suyu is now at least a monk in the late stage of the sky control realm. Among the younger generation of Immortal Martial Academy in the imperial capital, even the number one genius is far behind Suyu. She didn't want to admit that Suyu was a monster. She just wanted to see her grandfather destroy Suyu as soon as possible. This way she can deceive herself into thinking that nothing happened. She could still insult Suyu as a waste. Mr. Wei took a step forward and mocked, Han Qingshan, you are the vice president of the Immortal Martial Academy in the imperial capital. Didn't you say that you always keep your word? Now I think what you are saying is like farting. Mr. Chiao said coldly, Han Qingshan, is a hypocritical person like you worthy of being a role model? You will only mislead others. Han Qingshan's body trembled as he was insulted. After he noticed the disdainful looks cast by Lin Zixuan, Zhang Wan, and others, he gritted his teeth tightly and his aura became a bit fiercer. Little bastard, I can give you a chance to live, and I am willing to help you solve all the troubles you are currently experiencing. As long as you are willing to become a slave of our Han family, I can save your life. Han Qingshan suddenly changed his decision. He took a fancy to Suyu's cultivation talent. If he could control Suyu, the Han family might be able to reach a higher level in the future. After Han Zi heard her grandfather's words, she wriggled her lips and wanted to speak. But thinking about it carefully, if Suyu is really willing to become a slave of the Han family, this is definitely a good thing for the Han family. After wanting to understand, Han Zi said condescendingly, little bastard, since my grandfather has given you a way to survive, then I don't have to worry too much about you. Now you kneel down and kowtow to me, and respectfully call us master. We will help you deal with your troubles in the future. Suyu stretched out and stepped towards Han Qingshan, there's so much nonsense. If you want to fight, fight, if you want to kill, kill. Why are you talking so much nonsense? You are delaying my sleep. When Han Zi saw that Suyu was so disrespectful, she gritted her teeth and said, Grandpa, this bastard is unwilling to bow his head. We can't raise a white-eyed wolf. You'd better give him a ride. Han Qingshan nodded coldly and said, little bastard, this is your choice, don't regret it. Finished. He took a step forward with his left foot. The withered right palm quickly struck in the direction of Suyu, hurricane destruction palm. This moment, the color of the sky and the earth changes, and the moon loses its light. Even the stars seem to dim a bit. Mr. Wei and the others tensed up. In their eyes, a terrifying hurricane formed between the sky and the earth. With the arrival of the hurricane, the surrounding buildings were destroyed. Mr. Wei and the others blocked Lulin, Tang Yuxin, and Wang Menglu behind them. This hurricane was so terrifying that even if they were some distance apart, they still had a sense of fear of facing death. Lulin and others with even lower cultivation levels would definitely not be able to withstand the breath of the hurricane. Without their obstruction, Lulin, Tang Yuxin, and Wang Menglu would most likely die in the hurricane's atmosphere. This is a rank 5 combat skill. Mr. Wei blurted out, his tone full of worry. Rank 5 combat skills are definitely extremely high-end combat skills in Xia Kingdom, and their attack power is very terrifying. Mr. Chiao, Lin Zixuan, and others on the side held their breath and stared at Suyu unblinkingly. In their worried eyes, Suyu was slowly walking towards Han Qingshan. He did not speed up or slow down. He seemed to be shopping. When Han Qingshan saw this, he shouted, "Go to hell, you ignorant bastard!" The violent hurricane swept Suyu instantly. The hurricane is filled with terrifying destructive power. People outside can't see clearly what's going on inside the hurricane. Han Qingshan said firmly, "The hurricane destruction palm that I use with all my strength can instantly kill a strong man of the same level as me. My cultivation is at the great perfection of creation. Do you think this little bastard still has a chance to survive?" A cold smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. When a lion fights a rabbit, he must use all his strength. Even though Han Qingshan concluded that it was impossible for Suyu's cultivation to cross into the territory of creation, he still used all his strength to use rank 5 combat skills. Therefore, he has lived most of his life and has never capsized in the gutter. Han Zi was a little dissatisfied. "Grandpa, after you use the hurricane destruction palm, there won't even be any bones left of that bastard. You really took advantage of him and let him die so happily." Lin Zixuan, Zhang Wan, and others desperately sensed the situation inside the terrifying hurricane. They tried to sense Suyu's living breath. But the hurricane was so terrifying that their senses couldn't penetrate it at all. Could it be said that Suyu would really die under Han Qingshan's palm? What? Do you think another miracle will happen? Don't look forward to it, that bastard has already been shattered to pieces in the hurricane. Han Qingshan said proudly. Lin Zixuan and others clenched their fists, their auras soaring. If Suyu was really dead, they would have to fight Han Qingshan desperately. Even if they knew they would die, they would not hesitate. However, when they want to take action desperately, a figure slowly walked out of the hurricane. After Lin Zixuan and others saw that Suyu was unharmed, they suddenly became stunned, their eyes filled with disbelief. Suyu yawned and said, "It doesn't hurt or itch. It's so boring. Originally, I was thinking about whether this trick of yours could give me a massage. You disappointed me in the end. Is this all you have?" He waved casually. The terrifying hurricane behind him instantly dissipated without a trace between the sky and the earth. The surroundings suddenly became quiet. Suyu's steps did not stop. The moment Han Qingshan saw Suyu walking out of the hurricane safely, his eyes widened so big that he almost fell out of his sockets, and the smile at the corner of his mouth froze completely. He couldn't believe his eyes. How could this kid be unscathed? He felt that he must be dreaming, so he opened and closed his eyes vigorously, repeating the cycle. But they saw Suyu getting closer and closer, his whole face twitching, and his eyes filled with fear. Immortal world is back, I am invincible. Author, listen to the wind with your L. Chapter 77. The sound of Suyu's footsteps on the ground was like a heavy hammer hitting Han Qingshan's heart. Impossible. There's no way I'm going to lose to you, a bastard. Han Qingshan roared with a ferocious expression. The aura of the great perfection of creation in his body was like a volcano erupting. Bang, bang, bang. Under the influence of his momentum, the surrounding ground exploded one after another. You little bastard, don't think that if you can withstand one of my attacks, I will give in. I will be the one who laughs last today. Han Qingshan hunts in clothes. An even more terrifying power accumulated within him. One step out. The surrounding ground shook violently, as if an earthquake had occurred. Countless gravels splashed into the air, like dense raindrops. Wisps of black mist emerged from Han Qingshan's body. Soon, more and more black mist emerged from his body, and in the space behind him, the black mist turned into a huge ghost face. It looks extremely breathtaking. At the same time, Han Qingshan's spiritual energy turned black, and all aspects of his body were greatly improved. His aura was vaguely beyond the perfection of creation. Mr. Chiao took a breath. Han Qingshan, you actually practiced forbidden arts, you really deserve to die. In today's earth, many forbidden arts require the use of various evil means in the process of cultivation. The Xia kingdom explicitly prohibited monks from touching forbidden arts. Once discovered, they will be killed without mercy. At the moment, the forbidden technique used by Han Qingshan is obviously more powerful than the hurricane destruction palm just now. Mr. Wei, Lin Zixuan, and others were secretly anxious. Han Qingshan shouted coldly, as long as you all die, who will know that I have practiced forbidden arts? His evil eyes were filled with anger, and he stared at Suyu indifferently. Being able to push me to this point proves that you are indeed capable. Your cultivation level is definitely within the Dzogchen realm of creation, and you are among the most apex level cultivators of the Dzogchen realm. It seems that you hide a lot of secrets, and I am becoming more and more interested in you. As a monk in the great perfection of creation, Han Qingshan knew how difficult it was to make a breakthrough. He didn't even hope to reach a level above the creation realm in this life. That's why he chose to practice forbidden arts. For a 21-year-old boy to reach the great perfection of creation realm, it cannot be described as a miracle. Not to mention wanting to step into the realm of creation. He bet that Suyu's cultivation level could not be above the realm of creation. When Han Zi saw Suyu emerge from the hurricane unscathed just now, her face turned pale with fright and she stepped back continuously. When her grandfather used the forbidden technique, his momentum seemed to surpass the great perfection of creation realm. She regained her composure. She didn't expect that her grandfather actually practiced forbidden arts. But none of that matters anymore. Now she just wanted to see Suyu die tragically on the spot. Grandpa, kill this bastard quickly. Han Zi urged. The huge ghost face in the space behind Han Qingshan was distorted, and it opened its mouth, revealing its terrifying fangs. It's over. Everything ends today. Han Qingshan just wanted to launch an attack. Suyu, who never stopped, said calmly, noisy. Such an ugly thing should not come out in the middle of the night to scare people. It's not good to scare a child into tears. Suyu pointed his finger at the huge grimace behind Han Qingshan. The next moment, no one felt any power burst out from the finger pointed by Suyu. When Han Qingshan and Han Zi wanted to sneer and ridicule. Sound. The huge grimace turned into nothingness in the air. Ghostface was destroyed. Han Qingshan was affected to a certain extent. Puff. A large mouthful of blood spurted out from his mouth, and his momentum instantly became weak. This moment, the expression on Han Qingshan's face was as if he had seen a ghost. He was sweating all over his body and his body was shaking so hard that he couldn't stop. Your cultivation has surpassed the realm of creation. Are you a strong person above the realm of creation? How can this be? By the last sentence, his voice became hoarse. Above the creation realm is the heavenly star realm. This realm is mysterious and mysterious. There are very few monks in the world who can reach the heavenly star realm. Only within a true apex level family will there be a strong person from the heavenly star realm. The starting state of immortality, chi condensation, is the condensation of cyclones in the Danshan. When you step into the innate realm, the cyclone will turn into a stream of spiritual energy. After breaking through to the sea transformation realm, the spiritual energy stream in the monk's Danshan will turn into the spiritual chi si. After breaking through from the sea transformation realm to the sky control realm, the spiritual chi si will further expand, and the monks will have the ability to walk in the air. After entering the realm of creation, a heaven and earth will be formed in the monk's Danshan. Between the creation realm and the heavenly star realm, there is a mountain that is difficult to climb. Once you get over it, the monks let the sea be wide enough for fish to leap, and the sky high enough for birds to fly. Bright stars will form in the sky within the Danshan of a monk in the heavenly star realm. Mr. Wei, Mr. Chiao, and others had extremely dry throats, but they did not swallow their saliva. They just stared at Su Yu's back in horror. Han Qingshan's forbidden skills are stronger than rank 5 combat skills. Su Yu could destroy it with one finger. This means that he is very likely to be a strong person in the heavenly star realm. A 21-year-old heavenly star realm powerhouse? If this matter spreads, the whole world will not only be shocked. Su Yu walked up to Han Qingshan and said, "What other moves do you have? Feel free to use them." Han Qingshan's breathing was rapid. Facing Su Yu, he seemed to be facing a demon. I am the vice president of the Immortal Martial Academy in the Imperial Capital. If you kill me, even if you are a strong person in the heavenly star realm, you will not end well. This matter ends here. I will not trouble you again in the future. I'll go back to the Imperial Capital right away. Han Qingshan stammered. Su Yu reached out with his right palm. The moment he grabbed Han Qingshan's forehead, he pulled his right arm back. Han Qingshan wanted to say something else. But before he could say anything, his entire head was torn off by Su Yu. Warm blood spurted out from Han Qingshan's headless body. Su Yu held Han Qingshan's still glaring head in his right hand and threw it to Han Zi, who was standing aside. Han Zi was so frightened that she collapsed on the ground. She crawled to Su Yu on her knees and said, "Please spare my life. I am willing to be your woman, and I am willing to do anything for you, as long as you don't kill me." To survive. She has no lower limit at all. Has she forgotten that her grandfather was killed by Su Yu? Seeing that Su Yu didn't speak, Han Zi continued, "It's okay to be a female slave. From now on, you can play with me as you like. In the imperial capital, I am the proud daughter of heaven. There are countless people pursuing me. I am no worse than Song Ruian." Su Yu said disdainfully, "Want to be my slave? Are you worthy? Immortal world is back, I am invincible." Author, listen to the wind with your L. Chapter 78. Han Zi looked desperate. She unbuttoned her clothes and let a plump pair appear in front of Su Yu. "I can really do anything. Even if you treat me like a bitch, I beg you, I just want to live." Han Zi cried and wanted to hug Su Yu's thigh. Tan Yuxin in the distance was extremely angry. But before she could speak, the figures of Lin Zixuan and Zhangwan moved at the same time. The two of them appeared in front of Han Zi instantly. Zhangwan flicked her arm. There was a pop sound. A burst of energy hit Han Zi's face, and blood and flesh splattered everywhere. "What a shameless bitch, you dare to seduce brother Su Yu. Don't even look at what you look like now. It's so disgusting." Zhangwan shouted coldly. Lin Zixuan's eyes flashed coldly. She and Su Yu had done the most intimate thing, and Su Yu was her man. Han Zi was looking for death by seducing Su Yu in front of her. Facing Lin Zixuan's cold gaze, Han Zi just wanted to speak. Lin Zixuan didn't give her this chance, and struck out with a palm from the air. The terrifying destructive force bombarded Han Zi's head. There was a bang sound. Han Zi's head exploded suddenly. The air was bright red and looked extremely beautiful. When Lin Zixuan saw Tang Yuxin coming over, she felt a little guilty. Yuxin, I have killed her for you. Tang Yuxin would never have thought that Suyu and Lin Zixuan had already been in bed. She said gratefully, thank you, Dean Lin. Suyu glanced at Lin Zixuan. He didn't think Lin Zixuan was helping Tang Yuxin. This woman is obviously venting her anger. Mr. Wei sighed repeatedly in his throat. Senior Su, it seems that things are getting worse and worse. Han Qingshan and Han Zi died in Linzhou. Although there are no witnesses around, the Immortal Martial Academy will 100% believe that it was us. Next, the Immortal Martial Academy will never give up. Finished. He paused for a while, then cautiously spoke again. Senior Su, are you currently a strong person in the early stage of the Heavenly Star Realm? From low to high, the Heavenly Star Realm is also divided into early stage, middle stage, late stage, peak, and Dzogchen. Tang Yuxin stared at Suyu with burning eyes. Once upon a time, a monk in the Heavenly Star Realm was an existence that she could not even imagine. The eyes of Lin Zixuan, Zhang Wan, and others also fell on Suyu. You can think so. Suyu said casually. Reality is always unacceptable. He once told his true situation, but no one believed him. It's better to just brush it off casually. Time will prove everything. In the future, Tang Yuxin and others will naturally know how terrifying his true strength is. See, Suyu admitted. Mr. Wei and the others gasped continuously. Wang Menglu muttered, Suyu, you are simply not human. You have reached the early stage of the star realm at the age of 21. How can you let people of your age live? This is the Heavenly Star Realm. My ancestor is only at the Sky Control Realm. Lu Lin clenched his fists tightly. He was very excited. He looked at Suyu with admiration in his eyes. Brother Su, please give me more guidance in practice in the future. Suyu nodded calmly, and looked at Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao. Immortal Martial Academy is coming for revenge, and I will accompany you at any time. Don't think too much now. As long as I'm here, I will protect you. Then, he looked at Lin Zixuan, while you are here at the academy, go and count how many people are willing to stay. Lin Zixuan glared at Suyu. She was not used to someone ordering her to do things. But apart from showing some dissatisfaction on her face, she still obeyed Suyu's instructions obediently. Dean Lin, we will accompany you to do the statistics. Tang Yuxin, Wang Menglu, and Lu Lin stood up. The three of them are students in the college. With their help, they can count the number of people faster. Zhang Wan said, I am the vice president of the new college, and I can't be idle. She followed Lin Zixuan. More than an hour later, Lin Zixuan and the others finished counting. In the entire Linzhou Immortal Martial Academy, there are only 200 students who are willing to stay, and not a single teacher is willing to stay. Although some teachers admire Lin Zixuan and want to follow Lin Zixuan in their hearts, they have to bow to reality. After being expelled from the Ministry of Talents, even if Lin Zixuan founded a new college, it would not be recognized by the Ministry of Talents at all. A pheasant cultivation academy with no future. After Suyu listened to Lin Zixuan's report to him, he nodded and said, it's useless to have too many people. 200 students are enough. Don't the top 5 schools like to compete for places on the Earth rankings and heavenly rankings? Only the top 100 people will be selected from the Earth ranking, and only the top 100 will be selected from the heavenly ranking. I want these 200 students to dominate the land ranking and the Tianbang. From now on, the earthly ranking and the Tianbang will no longer have anything to do with the top 5 schools. Lu Lin was excited and said, Brother Su, in the competition between the earthly ranking and the heavenly ranking, only students from the 5 prestigious schools can participate. Suyu smiled and said, the people of the Immortal Martial Academy have suffered at our hands many times, and now even their vice dean has died in Linzhou. After we established the new academy, as long as we show that we want to participate in the battle between the Earth ranking and the Heavenly ranking, I think the Immortal Martial Academy will definitely help us fight for it. They will definitely want to trample us severely in public. Let's see the reality. Not only that, the last battle between the Earthly ranking and the Heavenly ranking ended not long ago. If our academy is sure to participate, the Immortal Martial Academy will definitely hold the next battle between the Earth ranking and the Heaven ranking in advance. Suyu sees people's hearts clearly. Tianhai Immortal Martial Academy will also contribute to this matter. Just because one of their original vice presidents became the vice president of our college. Some so-called big shots who are above others always like to make unyielding people lower their heads. Mr. Wei, Mr. Chiao, and others felt that what Suyu said made sense. If the academy they founded could dominate all the rankings on the ranking list and the heavenly ranking. When that day comes, it will definitely be exciting. Lin Zixuan pursed her lips and asked, "What do you plan to name the new college?" After thinking for a few seconds, Suyu replied, "It's called Immortality Academy." Mr. Wei repeated Suyu's words, "Eternal Life Academy." With a smile on his face, he continued, "This is a great name." Linzhou was able to resolve the crisis because of Senior Su Changsheng. Naming the new college Changsheng College is also an expression of our respect for Senior Su Changsheng. Mr. Chiao said to Suyu, "Senior Su, you are so considerate. You have the same last name as Su Changsheng. In the future, your strength and cultivation will definitely not be lower than that of Senior Su Changsheng. When it comes to Su Changsheng." Except for Suyu, everyone present looked enthusiastic and adoring. Suyu looked indifferent. Is this necessary? It seems that Su Changsheng's identity must be temporarily hidden. To save these people from looking at him with this expression every day. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Immortal World is back, I am invincible. Author, listen to the wind with your L. Chapter 79. Waiting for Tang Yuxin's birthday tomorrow. Suyu will set off for Tianhai the day after tomorrow. In the future, after he leaves Earth and returns to the immortal world. Changsheng Academy can also be regarded as a gift he left to his hometown. Wang Menglu, please call your master. Ask him if he is willing to come and serve at Changsheng Academy. From now on, I want him to be in charge of the Alchemy Society. Suyu said. Wang Menglu was stunned for a moment. Her master, Mr. Nai, is a 3-star alchemist and the president of the Linzhou Alchemist Association. Would her master like an alchemy club in a small college? No matter how. After Wang Menglu dialed Mr. Nai's number, she asked tentatively. Mr. Nai didn't talk nonsense on the phone. He just said that he would rush to Linzhou Immortal Martial Academy immediately. About 10 minutes later, Nai Jixuan, dressed in Tang suit, appeared in everyone's sight. He has been paying attention to the situation on Suyu's side. When Wang Menglu saw her master appear, she immediately went to greet him. She told Nai Jixuan in more detail what happened at Changsheng Academy. And with Suyu's consent, Wang Menglu said that Suyu's current cultivation level was in the early stage of the heavenly star realm. Seeing Nai Jixuan holding his breath in shock, Wang Menglu continued, "Master, please calm down first. The horror in Suyu is more than that. He is also a 7-star array mage." Nai Jixuan's eyes widened. Cough cough, cough cough. He coughed violently and swallowed hard in his throat. No wonder Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao would follow Suyu, that's it. Now in Xia's country, the most powerful formation master on the surface is only Kixing. There is definitely an expert behind Suyu. What kind of existence can cultivate a terrifying genius like Suyu? Even Suyu is in the early stage of the heavenly star realm. What level of cultivation will the master behind him be at? Beads of sweat the size of peas appeared on Nijixuan's forehead, and he did not dare to continue thinking about it. Senior Su, I am willing to work at Changsheng Academy. I will definitely help you manage the alchemy club. Nijixuan assured. Then, he sighed, Senior Su, you should actually spend some energy on refining alchemy. With your talent, this so-called title of Earth's strongest alchemist is just your beginning. Su Yu looked calm, and the storage ring on his finger flashed. Several spirit medicines that are thousands of years old were suspended in front of him. Nijixuan's face twitched, and he said in horror, is this a 1,000-year-old dragon-shaped fruit? Is this a 1,000-year thunder strike vine? This is a 1,000-year. He looked at the 6 spirit medicines that Su Yu took out, and fell into a state of shock from which he could not recover. It has only been more than 100 years since the spiritual energy of the earth was revived. It is impossible for spirit medicine to appear for 1,000 years. After all, spirit medicine requires the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to be nourished. Su Yu said calmly, have you heard of good fortune gold core? After Nijixuan came to his senses, his body trembled. It is said that gold core is a 5-star elixir that can only be refined by apex-level beings in the 5-star alchemist. Currently, there are only some ancient books in the ruins that record the creation of the gold core. No one in Danfang can deduce it. After taking a deep breath, he continued, the gold core of creation can allow the monks of the Dzogchen and half-step creation realm to easily enter the creation realm. And by using the gold core breakthrough, the monk's foundation will be very solid. This is a breakthrough elixir without any side effects. Senior Su, could it be that you? Don't wait for him to finish speaking. Su Yu turned his right palm over, and a cluster of purple flames burst out from his palm. Even though he had tried his best to suppress the temperature of the 9 nether purple fire, the people present were still frightened. The 9 nether purple fire gave them a sense of fear that they would be burned to ashes at any time. Nijixuan's voice trembled slightly, Senior Su, do you want to make elixirs here? I will go and get a medicine cauldron for you. Su Yu said calmly, no need. Next, watch carefully. How much you can understand depends on your understanding. Nijixuan was puzzled for a while. How could he make elixirs without a medicinal cauldron? Just 1 second. His eyes widened to their maximum size. I saw Su Yu casually refining elixirs in the space in front of him. The purple flames transformed into a medicine cauldron. 6,000-year-old spirit medicine, under the control of Su Yu, entered the 9 nether purple fire one after another. Su Yu tried to slow down the refining speed. His refining technique was very mysterious, which made Mr. Nye marvel at it. A few minutes later, the air is filled with the refreshing scent of medicine. 10 pills were formed within the 9 nether purple fire, blooming with dazzling golden light. A golden beam of light shot straight into the night sky. Soon, large golden clouds formed in the night sky, which were extremely gorgeous. When Nijixuan saw this, he said excitedly, Senior Su has really refined the legendary gold core of creation. I have read from ancient books that when the gold core is successfully refined, golden clouds will appear in the sky. Su Yu waved his hand casually. The 9 nether purple fire dispersed, and 10 elixirs emitting golden light were suspended in front of him. It is still possible to refine 10 elixirs at once, which means that the medicinal properties of spirit medicine are not lost at all. Su Yu glanced at Lin Zixuan and Zhang Wan, one of you is in the half-step creation, and the other is in the great perfection of the sky control realm. The gold core is just right for you to take. You can officially enter the early stage of creation tonight. Lin Zixuan and Zhang Wan were unable to come to their senses. Su Yu is actually a 5-star alchemist? Wrong. Judging from the fact that Su Yu can refine the legendary gold core without using a medicinal cauldron, his true alchemist level is definitely more than 5 stars. The two women looked horrified. Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao stood beside him like wooden stakes. They stared at Suyu blankly, their mouths going dry for a while. Nijixuan took a deep breath, and then slowly exhaled. He also guessed that Senior Su was definitely more than a 5-star alchemist. If he could follow Senior Su, he might be able to climb higher mountains on his way to alchemy. Senior Su, I have decided to withdraw from the Alchemist Association. From now on, I will focus on following you and taking care of the Alchemy Club of Changsheng Academy for you. Nijixuan's face was full of urgency. He took out his mobile phone on the spot, dialed the number of the Alchemist Association in the imperial capital, and bluntly stated that he wanted to withdraw from the association. Amid the other party's confusion and persuasion, he didn't say any more nonsense and hung up without hesitation. Lu Lin muttered to himself dully, with Brother Su's leadership, Changsheng Academy will definitely be able to rise. Both Array Master and Alchemist can help monks grow rapidly. Even the top 5 prestigious schools cannot afford to hire 7-star Array Masters and 5-star Alchemists. What's more, Brother Su's Alchemist level is definitely more than 5 stars. Wang Menglu once had the opportunity to apprentice with Suyu. As long as she begged Tang Yuxin more, Suyu would definitely accept her as his disciple. But at the beginning, she felt that even if Suyu was the strongest 1-star alchemist, it would still be just 1 star after all. When she enters the 2nd star in the future, Suyu's role in guiding her will become smaller and smaller. Now Suyu has shown incredible alchemy methods. Wang Menglu regretted it. What an awesome master she had missed. Immortal world is back, I am invincible. Author, listen to the wind with your L. Chapter 80. The night is rich. After Lin Zixuan and Zhongwan came to their senses, they each took a fortune gold core on the spot. The entrance to the elixir. Then it turned into liquid and flowed down their throats into their stomachs. The 2 women closed their eyes and performed the exercises. With Suyu, Mr. Wei, and others here, they don't have to worry about being disturbed during their breakthrough. The medicinal effect of good fortune gold core exploded in their bodies. Lin Zixuan and Zhongwan's aura was rising steadily. With the help of fortune gold core, their breakthrough will become a matter of course. In the surrounding heaven and earth, the spiritual energy became more and more violent. The sky seemed to be shaking. Countless spiritual energy poured into the bodies of the 2 women crazily. A world belonging to her formed in Lin Zixuan's Danshan, and she successfully entered the early stage of creation from the half-step of creation. But her momentum was still rising, and it wasn't until it reached the peak of the early creation realm that her momentum stabilized. Now Lin Zixuan is only 1 step away from breaking through to the middle stage of the creation realm. Soon. Next to her, Zhongwan also made a breakthrough in cultivation. She broke through from the great perfection of the sky control realm to the early stage of the creation realm. Just after breaking through, her momentum stabilized. After all, Lin Zixuan's original cultivation level was at the half-step of good fortune, while Zhongwan's original cultivation level was at the great perfection of the sky control realm. After Lin Zixuan took the elixir, she was naturally able to go further than Zhongwan. When the 2 women broke through, they deliberately restrained their momentum, which made the movement less loud. Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao smiled bitterly. They had been practicing hard for most of their lives, but they were caught up by Zhongwan and Lin Zixuan. If they hadn't known Suyu and drank the fairy brew given by Suyu, their cultivation would have fallen behind Zhongwan and Lin Zixuan. If you practice hard, you might as well know a big boss. Anything that slips out from the big boss's fingers is enough to save them from struggling for decades, or even hundreds of years. Now in their eyes, Suyu is undoubtedly the boss. Wang Menglu looked regretful. But that's it? Her current master is Nijixuan, and it is useless no matter how much she regrets it? Xiao Xingxin, what level of alchemist do you think Suyu is? Mentioned Suyu. Wang Menglu's tone unconsciously became very respectful. There was a trace of confusion in Tang Yuxin's beautiful eyes. Menglu, Do you think I can really keep up with Suyu's pace in the future? Am I worthy of Suyu? Wang Menglu held Tang Yuxin's arm, and she said seriously, Xiao Xingxin, what are you talking about? Emotions cannot be measured by these. Let me ask another question, if you were far beyond Suyu, would you leave Suyu behind? Tang Yuxin shook her head firmly and said, no. Wang Menglu nodded and said, that's fine. Suyu will never leave you behind. You will definitely be able to go very, very far together in the future. If you are still confused, you can cook the raw rice with Suyu tonight. The last sentence. She said it in Tang Yuxin's ear. The sound was low, low. But he couldn't escape Suyu's ears. Originally, he wanted to comfort Tang Yuxin. As a result, after hearing Wang Menglu's words, he had a strange look on his face and looked at Tang Yuxin, who was lowering his head and blushing. Is this girl really coming to his room tonight? Suyu, there are 8 gold cores left. Lin Zixuan said. Just now, Suyu gave all 10 gold cores to both of them. There are 8 good fortune gold cores left. You can handle them as you please. You can use these 8 pills to recruit some monks who are at the great perfection of the sky control realm or half steps of creation for the Changsheng Academy. Suyu said casually. Lin Zixuan and Zhangwan heard this and took 4 pills each. Once the fortune gold core is put up for auction, many old guys will definitely go crazy. In today's Xia dynasty, there are many old guys who are in the great perfection of the sky control realm, or in the middle of half step of creation. Their hope of breakthrough in this life is slim. As long as they can break through to the realm of creation, this means that their lifespan can be extended. Therefore, in the eyes of these people, the gold core of creation is not only a breakthrough in cultivation, but also related to their lifespan. Brother Suyu, I can't help myself from you. Zhangwan winked at Suyu. Suyu just pretended not to see it. The gold core I refined uses thousands of years of spirit medicine. In addition to allowing you to successfully break through to the creation realm, it will also allow you to realize the mystery of the heavenly star realm in advance. You too can close your eyes and sense whether there are very illusory stars and shadows in the sky formed in your danshan. Stepping from the creation realm into the heavenly star realm means lighting up the stars in the sky within the danshan. Zhangwan and Lin Zixuan heard this and immediately closed their eyes to sense it. Not long after, the two of them opened their eyes in disbelief. When Suyu saw this, he said calmly, "Did you feel it?" Lin Zixuan and Zhangwan nodded at the same time. Suyu continued, "When you are promoted to the great perfection of the creation realm in the future, you will not have any bottlenecks to break through, and you can naturally enter the star realm. At that time, the shadows of stars in the sky in your danshan will completely solidify." Zhangwan and Lin Zixuan's hearts were pounding. This means that from now on, they can enter the heavenly star realm smoothly. They were breathing heavily, and their beautiful eyes looking at Suyu were full of brilliance. Mr. Wei and Mr. Chiao on the side were very envious, but unfortunately they had already entered the early stage of the creation realm. Now taking fortune gold core has no effect. Nijixuan asked tentatively, "Senior Su, what level of alchemist are you now?" Suyu smiled and said, "Guess." Nijixuan swallowed. The president of the Alchemist Federation is now a 7-star alchemist. What do you think of him? Suyu yawned and said, "I'm better than him." As soon as these words came out, there was a buzzing in the ears of everyone present. In other words, Suyu is at least an 8-star alchemist now. Is it possible? At this time, Lin Zixuan's cell phone rang. After she answered it with a frown, the expression on her face became colder and colder. "It's Suwu calling. He asked you to answer the phone." Lin Zixuan looked at Suyu. Since returning to Earth, Suyu has not bought a mobile phone yet. Suwu previously learned from Yang Hai that Lin Zixuan was very protective of Suyu. In order to talk to Suyu, he had to find someone to ask for Lin Zixuan's number. Now Yang Hai, the head of the Linzhou branch of the Yinbuobu, is dead. The mysterious and powerful Su Changsheng appeared again in Linzhou. Su Wu didn't want to take any more risks by sending people to Leizhu. He wanted Su Yu to take the initiative to go to Tianhai. Su Yu took Lin Zixuan's cell phone and put it to his ear. "What do you want to say to me?" Su Wu's cold voice came, "The day after tomorrow is Grandpa's 90th birthday, I invite you to come back to participate. Do you dare to come?" Su Yu was originally going to Tianhai the day after tomorrow. I didn't expect it to be such a coincidence. The day after tomorrow is actually the old guy's birthday party. Go. Of course he is going.